can you talk about Monday almost being here and you're actually going to play football, which I think some of us weren't sure even until recently whether this was going to happen. Can you just talk about the fact that it is going to happen and how cool it is?
Yeah, you're right, Wags. It's super surreal. I think about when this pandemic first started and when, things started locking down early March, after when everybody went on spring vacation and just everything started to happen. I mean, none of us knew anything was going to happen in the world. First of all, that things could stop like that in the world where everything was put on hold. Just all this transpired. We've been planning for this day for so long. So many plans got thrown in the trash. Things got changed. You weren't really sure what you were going to do. But you try your best to get ready. And to finally be here is actually really cool. To be playing. Really proud of our team, first and foremost, to be disciplined for this long. And just that we've done really good protocol-wise. And, it's a great shout-out to Jim Barry, all of our strength staff, our medical staff, our doctors at the academy, and our players, just the discipline to do that. Grateful for BYU and all that they've done to get to this point. So to finally be here, like you said, Wags, it's really surreal. Didn't think we would get here, but we're here. We're excited. And I think it'll be good, for our country to kind of do some things that get back to some normalcy as best you can. I don't know if you call that normal, but we're playing in an empty stadium, but that's the best we can do, and so that's keeping people safe, coming back in a responsible way, being able to play a game that we love. Really excited about it.
Obviously, it's been the most unique preseason ever. I know you're always nervous and uncertain going into an opener because you just don't know until you play a game, but is that even more the case this season? Or, are you really, like, for the first time in your career, perhaps as a head coach, not really sure what in the world you're going to see?
Well, losing Malcolm, and we see how good he is. It looks like he's going to make the Dolphins team, so it shows you the talent that young man is. Losing him, but we're thinking, we'll have spring ball. We'll kind of see who the next guy is. And Ivan does a phenomenal job of grooming the next guy, but you don't have that. And then, you come back and then your preparation time is condensed too. So you're concerned about that. And then the COVID-19 preparation. And so, like I said, I heard Coach Lynn from the Chargers said that everybody needs a football plan and a COVID-19 plan, and your COVID-19 plan has to be better than your football plan. And I agree with that. I've erred on the side of safety for our team from the COVID-19 as far as protocol. Will we be ready football-wise? Wags, I'm super nervous. And so I know defensively our coaches are concerned about tackling. Offensively, we're concerned about blocking. We haven't done anything live. You know what I mean? And so if we can't block and tackle, I told, hey, guys, don't worry about it. It won't be Coach Newberry and it won't be Coach Jasper. It's me. But I made that decision early on that I was going to err on the side of safety than football. That was just my philosophy.
Coming off an 11-2 campaign with the Commander-in-Chief's Trophy Championship, a Liberty Bowl championship, do you feel like the momentum can carry over, and do you feel good about the personnel? What's kind of your outlook on the 2020 Navy football team? Do you see a very talented squad that can win a lot of games and accomplish all the goals that Navy always sets for itself?
I've been here a long time. When we've been successful is we have great leadership. And normally we do. Normally, and like I said, I don't know if we've ever had bad leadership. I shouldn't say that. I don't think, even years that we lost, we had really good captains and good people. But just if you're slightly off, maybe guys get a little bit more selfish. Hey, how come I'm not playing? Or I need the ball, or I need to be starting. When those kind of voices start to creep in, for us, it never bodes well, even though that's probably talk that goes everywhere. But this 2020 team, I've seen their leadership from the beginning of those pandemic Zoom meetings that we have, or Google Meet meetings that we had early in March. We have some strong, strong leadership that have gone through a lot of things, not just the pandemic, some of the racial unrest, some of the things that have happened here at the academy, just among students and football players. There's been stuff on social media. There's probably as turbulent as an off season as you can have without getting ready for football. But I've seen the leadership of this team. So I guess to answer your question, Wags, that gives me great hope that we have great leaderships that's been able to navigate our team through all of this. I feel like that more than anything is a great indication that we have a chance to be a good football team this year.
I'll let some of the other guys go, and I'll come back with a few more questions later.
Who's up next? Sean, you want to go?
Yeah, I'll just ask a couple. Hey, Coach, how you doing? Good to see you.
Sean.
Just on the topic of actually getting here, and you said it was surreal, and, what does it say about, you guys, your protocols, your players following through and actually getting to play, and also BYU too? I mean, really, any college conference or player that's actually starting to play games this weekend. What does it say that people, players, coaches were able to follow and be disciplined, follow the protocols, be disciplined enough to have this happen?
It's a great question, Sean. Again, it's a testament to our players, also to this school. From the military side, they had very strict guidelines and protocols. We did obviously in our football team too. And so I think that allowed us to be safe, but it opened up another factor that hadn't had to deal with as a football coach. I feel like, because we're here, which is great, and it's almost got a little bit of a bubble being here at the academy, but our guys have been isolated a little bit, haven't been able to leave the yard. And so I've had to deal with probably a lot more anxiety, depression, mental things, John, that are real life things, but those things are hard to gauge. It's if somebody sprains an ankle or something physical, you can see their injuries. But I've had to probably send more people to our sports psychologists this season more than any year. And we've had to do things to kind of mitigate that. So we don't have locker room time anymore, which things I never even thought about before, because we're only changing for 15 minutes and you got to get out, just the CDC guidelines of being indoors. And so guys don't get to sit around in a locker anymore and just whatever, argue, laugh, talk about whatever. We lose that time. So we've had to kind of fabricate that on the field after practice, take off our pads in an open air field and be social distance and let guys talk. Like I said, if somebody ever passed our practice field, they'd think like, what are those guys? There's 100 and something guys on the field spread out on the field with, sitting down. What are they doing? But that's our locker room time. And so it's a great testament, Sean, to these young men and the school to stay disciplined. And, we just have to adapt every day. And the thing that we've had to adapt also as coaches is the mental psyche of our players. Just make sure they're mentally healthy.
What about your opponent, BYU, from a football standpoint? What type of team is coming to Annapolis?
Very physical. And that's the thing that's very concerned, because I just told Wags our biggest concern is, are we going to be able to tackle? We haven't tackled live this whole year. Here it is in September. We've never tackled anybody since the bowl game. We haven't blocked anybody live. We've simulated things, or we've tackled dummies or the donuts and blocked sleds. Those things don't hit back. It'd be like a boxer going out, all you did is hit the speed bag and went and got in a fight, and the guy actually fights back. So a very physical team, Sean, that has a really, really good quarterback. They lost, obviously, Bushman, their top threats. But Zach Wilson coming back poses a lot of problems. He's a really good quarterback. He's athletic, very confident young man. And on the O-line is a very good O-line. And up front, just a big physical front. So their physicality up front and their quarterback are going to present some challenges for us.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck.
Thank you.
Scott Wyckoff.
Coach, you talked about you being super nervous. Is there a way to gauge the nervousness that's in your players and even your assistant coaches?
I think for us, it's always the same. The coaches, the players, I think kind of sensing it seems normal. I think they're starting to get it like it's game week, but it's kind of weird because really in our game week preparation today is a Wednesday. So, you know, we going off that tomorrow is a Thursday, you know what I mean? And so it's getting closer to game day though. Guys recognize it's getting closer. I think the nerves will continue to get in there. I think just the part of it's getting over the part of the uniqueness of it, or just being so surreal. I think things are starting to set in now. Like it's coming. We're playing. It's happening.
That said, is there something that stood out to you that you and the team have experienced in a good way that you might not have experienced if you weren't going through everything associated with the COVID-19 protocols?
I think we got a lot closer through these team meetings, Zoom meetings that we had, you know, almost weekly during the pandemic. You know what I mean? So just to sit and talk on these Google Meet meetings, I thought those were things that allowed us to get closer that way, or get close when maybe some guys that may not have been vocal will say things. The early portion of the walkthroughs and the way we practiced early on, the way we split up our practices, because we were so concerned about the safety, we split our team in half. So there are small numbers, you're practicing on different fields. So basically we had 2 practices a day with split squads. So it allowed a lot of guys to get reps. And I think that kind of built our depth a little bit. And I don't know if we would have got that any other way besides the way we had to do it. So we had to split our practices up because of trying to keep the numbers down, trying to keep people spaced out, trying to keep the amount of guys in the locker room at one time at a small, minimal number. I think it allowed more guys to get reps to hopefully help them prepare for the game.
How about the comfort zone with Coach Newberry? Of course, you hired him last year, but you'd never coached with him. And he was doing a lot of different things on defense that you hadn't seen on a Navy team before. Having that season under your belt with him and the whole offseason to get to know him both on and off the field, how is that comfort zone level different this year?
Well, it was really strong early on in the interview process because I could tell he was a very, very intelligent man, and he knew what he was talking about. I mean, it's as good, the best defensive mind I've been around. I mean, just the very creative, you know, just the things that he does. So I felt comfort level. It came, I think, last year, telling you, going into spring ball, going against him. Our offense, we've been doing this a long time on offense. Our offensive staff's been together a long time. We've seen everything, and we feel like we can dissect anybody. You know, just from a schematic standpoint, we go, okay, this is what we're doing. This is how we're going to attack them. And again, I remember telling the story. You know, I've told it before. Just remember me and Ashley be on the sideline. Coach Jasper would be by the quarterbacks. We're normally in the back so we can see what people are doing. And we kind of looked at each other. I just said, what was that? You know, we both were, I don't know. You know what I mean? They were just kind of coming from all over the place. And we struggled against our defense to move the ball this spring. I knew we'd be good. And then playing in 2 service academy games, his first 2 service academy games, I don't know if we've ever held, Scott might have the numbers, I don't know if we've ever held them to less yardage, both schools rushing, than that before, Army and Air Force combined. I mean, the numbers that we held them rushing the ball was unbelievable. All the people we played in our conference, how well he did. You know, Coach Jasper is the best at getting our offense and our quarterback ready. You know, so I've been more on the offensive side because we have a new quarterback. I don't even worry about the defense, you know what I mean? Because I know Coach Newberry and their staff, they're taking care of that. We have a new quarterback. We have some young guys on offense. So that's what has been my focus, to be on that side with Coach Jasper and offensive staff. I trust Coach Newberry that much. Just like you take care of that side, and we'll see you at the game.
It's the perfect relationship with your defensive coordinator. Finally, Coach, we're so used to Wags and Sean and I and everybody seeing your wife out at practice and how important this team is to her and the players have almost a second mother with her. How has it been for her having to stay at an arm's length from all the guys?
It's been tough. She has mentioned that many times, that she hates not being able to come to practice and to be around people and to hug the players. And, a lot of times there's parents there too, and to see the parents, she enjoys talking with them. But the other wives too come. A lot of the wives bring their kids and they play on the turf field while practice is going. We have a very family-oriented staff. So you're normally see somebody's son playing, catch on the turf field while we're practicing on the grass field. So I know they miss that. And she's definitely not excited about not being able to come to the game on Saturday. You know what I mean? That will be a first. You know what I mean? Just she'll be at home watching the game. And I know I've been talking to a lot of family members and people that want tickets to this game. And they think I'm lying, like, oh, surely I can, you can give me a spot here. I say, buddy, my wife's not coming. My wife's not coming. You ain't coming. So I'm just trying to explain to people, I'm not trying to get one over you. It's not like we're sneaking people in here. Just, I don't have any tickets, and nor is there any place for you to sit. So it'll be strange with my wife not being there at practice and obviously not being at games.
Great. Thanks.
Hi, Scott.
ESPN 960 in Salt Lake.
Yeah, Coach Hunter Miller here with ESPN 960 out in Utah. This has been a game, the BYU-Navy matchup that BYU fans have wanted to see on the schedule for quite some time, not just because Navy's been such a good program over the years and because it's a matchup between two historic programs, but because of everything that goes into it in terms of the LDS aspect and the significance of the Polynesian connection between you and Kalani Sitake. With all the game prep that you've been doing, have you had the chance to kind of take a step back and look at what this game kind of means for the LDS and for the Polynesian communities?
Most definitely. I mean, I think it's very significant. Just, proud of Kalani, and just because we both recognize becoming a head football coach at the Division I level is a really, really hard thing to do. So to have two guys, from the same hometown, Polynesian ancestry, both members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I think it's a really cool deal. National television, the only game going on. I mean, it's exciting. It's exciting. They're a really good football program. I never even expected to play them. You know what I mean? And, I don't know how much longer I'll coach, but I never even ever thought that we'd ever play BYU. So for this to transpire is pretty exciting. Like you said, on both sides, from both sides of the ball and from both programs. I think we're both excited.
Is this a game that you would like to see on the schedule more often, a matchup with BYU?
I've actually tried to stay away from them because I know they're a good team. I know Bronco early on when Bronco was there, he wanted to play. And I said, I know how good they are. I said, no, I think we're good. But it's actually been hard too because we're in our conference and three of our games are already, our non-conference games are already locked in, the two Service Academy games in Notre Dame. So, I think it was kind of hard to schedule that one game. But yeah, I think it would be pretty cool to continue it on if they could work it out on their side and if we could work it out on our side. Like I said, we only have that one available spot normally during most years because of the way our schedule lays out.
And finally, from me, Coach, with everything that's gone into this game, with the COVID-19 pandemic going on, it being a national game, the matchup between you and Kalani Sitake, is this a game that, win or lose, years down the road, you'll look back at fondly?
Yeah, I think so because from all the things that you said, but I think it's exciting just from the standpoint of, in March, none of us knew what was going to happen. And so finally to be playing, just the significance of it, hopefully it'll be a nationally televised game to maybe spur us to kind of move to some safe normalcy. Again, we understand that this pandemic is no joke and there are people dying, but I think we've all taken the safety precautions necessary to continue to do something that we love. One of our favorite pastimes, national pastimes, college football, to be able to play football. Just hopefully, I think, to kind of break that barrier to kind of, hey, you know what, we can play and we can play safely. I think that's really a monumental event, for both schools to be a part of.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Mitch Northern, do you have anything?
I don't know is my audio working now? Yeah. Hey, Coach, how you doing? Yeah, I was just going to ask you, I don't know if you addressed this earlier in the call or not, but just sort of how you feel about how confident you are in your offensive lines, ability going into this first game of the season. You have a couple changes on the left side there, but some continuity on the right side. So just curious about your confidence heading into this opener.
Well, I feel good about that these guys know our culture. Our guys from their prep school to their freshman year, these guys are under the chutes nonstop. You barely see the offensive linemen. There's a grind that they go through that we feel like, we call it the furnace. We put these guys through the furnace that if you come out of the furnace, you're a pretty tough dude. And those guys are constantly under the chutes. So a lot of times we get seniors that end up playing and juniors, and they just kind of groom themselves in there. They learn our system. They stay the course. And kind of feel like the guys that have been able to withstand the hard practices that they have. It's playing O-lineman in an option offense. There's a lot of running. There's a lot of pad work. There's a lot of shoot work. So you feel good that way. The problem is we've been blocking bags. And all of us have seen BYU's D-line. Obviously we know very well about Kairos Tonga, and so that gives you that's what makes you not confident. You feel confident guys know what they're doing. Can we block those guys? We'll find out on Monday.
Sure. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Mitch.
Wags, back around to you.
Coach, I'm probably the only member of the media who cares about this stuff, but I'll try once again. Do we have a punter?
Yes. It's Dan Davies.
Dan Davies, what have you liked about him?
Just consistent. He's wanted in camp. Guys punted the ball really well. Got height on the ball. But he's again, another guy similar to Dalen. He earned it. He earned it in camp. It was wide open in camp. And he won the job, so he did a good job.
Punt returner, kick returner?
We got some multiple guys back there, Miles Fells, Chance Warren, different guys that are going to be involved with that.
On both punt and kick return?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we had talked about freshmen and the fact they're so far behind. Does it look at this point that you will not play any plebes in the opener?
Yeah, we're going to play some, but I'm not going to tell you because I don't want BYU to know, because they know where we're playing them.
Well, that's encouraging, though, that a couple were able to get ready enough in time to be able to help you.
Yeah, I'm excited about them. And with more time, we're really excited about some of our guys.
And then last for me, it occurred to me that one of the great honors of capturing the Commander-in-Chief's trophy is you go to the White House to receive it. And that did not happen this summer because pandemic. And I was kind of emailing back and forth with Strauss and saying, well, do you think it'll ever happen? And, with the seniors all moving on and they're probably serving somewhere, it looks like maybe that it will never happen. How disappointing is that you win the Commander-in-Chief's trophy, you don't actually get to be presented with it at the White House?
Well, it's very disappointing because that's always been our goal. The CIC is our biggest goal in our program, winning the Commander-in-Chief trophy, and we've always looked forward to that. We don't take it for granted. I think early on when we were kind of on a run there a little bit, maybe we took it for granted a little bit, but when you lose a few times, you're like, you know what? We can't take that thing for granted, man. And anytime you get the trophy and you got a chance to go to the White House, we got to celebrate that. So, I was unfortunate that we weren't able to go this year, but we'll see.
Yeah, I guess you'll have to have the president recognize you as back-to-back champs next summer.
That's right.
Hey, Scott, I got one more if I could.
Go ahead, Sean. Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, Coach. It just popped into my head here. You talked about the mental side of the game with your players. Starting the season being surreal. do you, and I don't know how really emotional you get on season openers or as we lead up to a game, but with all that's transpired, all the sacrifices that have been made to get this going, do you anticipate not only for you but for other coaches and players to see some emotion when you run on that field on Monday, and what that's going to be like?
Well, I know I'm going to be crying. I cry for everything. I mean, it's going to be an emotional deal. I know there are some great football players on the team. I know the emotional guys on the team that are like me, that, you know, they run hot and cold. They'll be crying one moment and yelling one moment. And I know those guys, tears will be flowing in that locker room. We'll just be excited, like you said, because I mean, just everything they've had to go through when they first came back, being 2 weeks in isolation, you know, to make sure that you're, you know, or quarantine, and then another couple weeks, and just all the things you have to do. But the thing I've tried to do, Sean, is help those guys being put in perspective. Hey, guys, this has been tough and this is hard, but there's a lot of people that have it way worse than us, man. There are people that have lost jobs. People have lost family members. You know, I mean, if we got to do some of this stuff, we'll survive. But some of the stuff, like you said, the mental stuff, or stuff that I didn't anticipate. You know, I did not see that coming. And so we've had to adjust, and the academy's done a really good job of addressing those needs with those midshipmen, with those people. You know, they try to allow a lot more outdoor chair. When you come to the academy now, there's outdoor chairs all over the place, you know, like beach lawn chairs. Like, what are those doing over there? Just for admins to be able to go outside and be in the sun and to look at the water and get out of their room and looking at a screen, you know, just like, wow, I never even thought about all those things. But they've done a really good job. The academy's done a really good job on that.
Kind of talk about stepping into the big shoes of Jackson Pittman. I mean, the guy was a great player, pretty much starting nose guard for 3 seasons. This is not an easy guy to replace. Can you just talk about that challenge?
Yeah, honestly, just knowing I'm filling such big shoes has honestly pushed me to work even harder. You know, like this entire off season, I spent as much time as I could watching film, watching, you know, a lot of his old game tapes, you know, seeing what he's looking at, trying to understand, you know, how he played the position. And then, you know, just also making sure I could get my footwork as, you know, as best as I, you know, to the best that I could get it to, my eyes, my technique, you know, just making sure, you know, I don't let there, you know, be a huge drop off into this year. So, I mean, I feel like it's helped me push my game to the next level. So, you know, we'll see on Monday how that goes. But, I mean, I feel pretty good going into this week, and I feel like I'll be able to do a pretty good job.
I know you were kind of playing the tackle position last year. Did you get any game reps at nose guard?
No, sir, I did not.
So can you tell us a little bit about the challenge in terms of the change in position? What's different from a nose guard standpoint? You know, we haven't played a game, but I have a feeling you're going to see more double teams than you may have at tackle. You got to hold that point of attack often with taking on a double team. I mean, can you talk a little bit about the challenges you face and how playing nose guard is different from tackle?
And those guys are a lot more physical than D tackle, as you said. You know, also it requires you to have a greater sense of where you are on the field, you know, a greater presence of where the back is at. So it's a lot more detailed than playing D tackle is. And also I feel like it's a lot more of, it's a lot more detail oriented. And, you know, it just allows you to kind of understand a little bit more what the offense is trying to do, where they're trying to run the ball. So, I mean, I like the position better because I feel like it, you know, helps me gain a better understanding of what I'm really looking at and what I'm looking for. But, yeah, it's a lot more physical and a lot more detailed.
Okay, go ahead, Wax.
I was going to ask if you've had opportunity to talk to Jackson and maybe get some tips, pointers.
Yeah, this offseason when we were in quarantine, when I was at home working out, we're both from the same area. So I reached out to him and, you know, I asked him a bunch of questions, you know, about like what he did to study film, you know, when looking at opposing offenses, what he was looking for, what tendencies he was looking for, stuff like that.
Yeah, Jackson Perkins told us that you guys were called the Twins. He wasn't sure Pittman liked that.
Yeah.
What last for me, I think Coach Newberry said that they wanted you to lose a little weight, become a little more agile, if you will. Do you feel that's happened?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I think last year I played around 320. Right now I'm about 308. I'm still trying to come down, trying to reach about 305, 300. Sooner rather than later. But I definitely feel a lot lighter on my feet, a lot quicker.
All right, very good. Well, I'll do one more. That BYU offensive line is very highly touted. They're getting a lot of accolades for, they're a veteran group. I think they've got some NFL caliber guys. Can you just talk about the challenge awaiting the Navy defensive line in this game?
I think it's a challenge we look forward to. I mean, yeah, have all these high accolades and all that stuff, but I think just as a group, we always look forward to those challenges, and excelling where people don't think we will. I remember when we played Kansas State last year, a lot of folks, they didn't think we'd be able to hold up with them, and I feel like we did a really good job being, shutting down the run game. So I feel like for us, we just look forward to these challenges and going up and being able to show up on Monday and show what we're really about. Show that we're a hard-nosed defensive line.
Sean Stepner. You're muted, Sean. You're muted. Sean, you're muted.
I got you. First time on Zoom. Sorry, man. So a couple big picture things from me. Just, after months of uncertainty about whether we're going to get sports, whether we're going to get football, you're playing Notre Dame in Ireland, you're playing Notre Dame in Annapolis, you're not playing Notre Dame at all, to finally take the field. How good does this feel?
It's an amazing feeling. I mean, I couldn't stop smiling all week. Honestly, I'm just excited. It feels like it's been such a long time since we've actually been able to take the field, and I'm just excited.
What's it going to feel like when you take the field and you don't hear those fans, you don't hear the brigade? I mean, what's that going to be like? So
my freshman and sophomore year, I played on the JV team, so I kind of have a sense of what it's going to be like, and we have a kind of saying sometimes you got to bring your own energy, and I feel like it's going to be, another one of those type of things.
So you have a sense of what it's going to be like. What was that like? What do you anticipate that kind of, being like, as you said a couple of years ago, you kind of experienced it. What is that experience?
It's kind of like, honestly, I feel like you're a little more locked into the game. You're not really worried about the fan reaction, celebrating as much. You kind of just more locked in, next play, going on to the next play. I think it's a little more competitive too, honestly, because it's just you and that other team. So I think it'll raise the level of play more than anything else.
Mm-hmm. I guess finally, to get sports and to get this game underway, I mean, you guys are a little different because you're in your own bubble. You're secured within the gates, but other teams and other schools aren't. To actually have it happen and to have people following protocols and kind of be disciplined in that regard, what does that say about kind of what it takes to play sports and college football in this climate?
Can you repeat this?
Yeah, like just the fact that the game is actually going to happen, and there were no hiccups, there were no kind of speed bumps to derail it. It's actually going to happen. What does that say to everybody's discipline and kind of resolve to make this work?
I guess it kind of shows just how important college football really is to the players and to the coaches. It just shows, it's a really big part of our lives and how much we really care about, getting this done.
It's good for me.
Wags, you have any follow-ups?
Well, I guess, it's kind of a rebuild of a defensive line, although two of the guys are returning starters. They're playing different positions. But you, Jay, and Jackson, do you feel good about this group, Mike?
I feel really good about it, yeah. We're all high level, not high level, high speed players. We get after it every day in practice. We're running to the ball. I feel comfortable with us. I know every snap they're going to give everything they got for the people around us, and I know I will too. So I'm comfortable with it.
Diego Fagot is kind of key weapon for Navy's defense. And I know that Coach Newberry wants to deploy him in a lot of different ways, but Diego Fago needs to be kept clean, and that's on you largely. Diego ever talk to you and say, Flowers, I don't want anybody getting on me, getting to that second level? You keep them away from me?
No, I haven't heard that yet. But I know that's my job, so I'll make sure I get it done. But I haven't heard that yet.
All right.
When I do hear, I'll make sure I won't let it happen again. Diego does not play around.